Hey YouTubers, welcome to zoomershooter.com. Today we're going to be...
Reject degeneracy, embrace tradition. Memes aside, as a child of the 1980s, I've always been fond of M81 Woodland camo, and I'm glad to see it make a resurgence in availability for clothing and tactical gear today. At this match, I'm using Whiskey 24's new plate carrier and accompanying mag pouches in M81 Woodland. I'm also wearing some classic M81 Woodland proper BDU pants. Today for 2GACM, I'm using perhaps the worst rifle configuration I have for the match, but it looks badass, so that's why I'm using it. It's the KP15, Cerakoted in Woodland Camo by We Plead II. It is a 20-inch government profile barrel with muzzle brake and Steiner fixed 5-power optic. Between the length and the limited eye relief and fixed magnification on the sight, this is the least competitive gun I own that I could bring out here. So let's see how I do with it. There are two mini IPSC steel at about 125 to 150 yards. The shooter must hit them each once from 8 different positions, starting in the standing offhand position, through 6 ports on this VTAC barricade, then standing offhand again from the final position. The VTAC barricade here has seen better days. It is very rickety, and I have to work to stabilize my rifle on it. Arguably, shooting offhand was easier. The sideways ports lower on the VTAC barricade are where I was concerned about being able to get in the eye box for the fixed 5-power Steiner optic, but as you'll see, I'm able to do it successfully, canting the gun 90 degrees, supporting on one arm, and getting my head positioned correctly behind the scope. You'll see me reposition here to make sure I'm not resting on the barrel, but on the free float tube instead. This stage was the most well suited to using this rifle, but I do still feel like I'm slower using this fixed magnification optic. I'm first armored and first overall on this stage. On this stage, the shooter is limited to 18 rounds. There are 3 targets that must be engaged once each from 6 different positions. Every hit outside the -1 or the 0 zone adds 30 seconds. The paper targets are at 50 yards. Note how my body turns like a turret to find the next target through the optic. This is definitively slower than using a red dot. On the middle target from this position, I can feel that I broke the shot when I was in the 3 zone, and I have to keep my head straight to keep making hits throughout the rest of the stage. That plus 30-second penalty could very well cost me the match. If you're doing appropriate sight picture follow-through, as I am, you'll know when you've broken a shot in an area that you didn't want it to go. The reason I did send it into the 3 zone versus the 1 or the 0 is with this longer rifle that I'm not used to shooting, there's more over travel swinging target to target. If you want to win all the time, use the same optic and the same rifle all the time, optimized for your particular sport. In the case of 2GACM, that optimized setup is a 16-inch carbine or shorter with a red dot and perhaps a magnifier. I'm using the Glock 45 with Delta Point Micro. There will be a review of this optic up on InRange TV in the future. When I'm struggling to hit the targets here at about 30 yards, it's trigger control. This trigger pull is a bit heavier than the 34s and 17 that I shoot most often. Even though the trigger pull is only about 2 pounds difference, I have to think consciously about squeezing that trigger to make the hits.
Yeah, 1.
Well, that's 6.
Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's a pistol round. Yeah, so that doesn't count.
Don't think that was for me, probably from another shooter that wasn't taped up.
You did. 1.
There's the 1 shot out and the 3 that I called earlier in the stage.
Those are good. Yep, just 1. Yeah, so 1 mic.
That plus 30 seconds hurts a lot. I would have had the second fastest time on the stage, but plus 30 seconds puts me down into first armored and 5th overall. This stage has 2 mini IPSCs at about 50 yards. From the barrels, the shooter must prone out and get 1 hit on each. From the cones, the shooter must hit the target standing. Again, fixed 5-power magnification at 50 yards means slow transitions. I'm basically keeping the rifle level at the height I know the targets are at and pivoting towards it until it comes into my view. Both eyes open tends to confuse me, and I go cross-eyed with it, so that's really the best I can do with this particular optic. From the prone position, you'll note that I'm supporting using my hand underneath the magazine. That's because my body's lying at a downward sloping angle towards the targets, and the targets are higher off the ground. I don't like using a bipod on this particular bay, especially when the targets are in opposite corners like this, because I feel it actually slows me down transitioning between the two.
Nicely done.
I'm third armored and third overall on this stage. In the end, I'm fast enough using a less than ideal rifle configuration to tank that 30-second penalty and still place first armored and first overall. Even though it was a bit more challenging, I did enjoy shooting this rifle and optic combination at 2 GACM. I will be using it at a Rio Black rifle match in the future, where I believe this configuration will be more at home. Thank you for watching. Come back again for more match and multi-gun competition content.